Be sure to check out my Patreon for weekly exclusive interviews, extra content on Veve and Omi, and building generational wealth, as well as money management tips from experienced whales. Yo, what is going on, y'all? I'm Cavell Anderson, and we're back with another Veve and Ecomi video. In this one, we're going to be going over something interesting. So I wanted to show you all an example of, and while I don't give financial advice, nothing that I say on this channel is financial advice. This is one of those moments where I'll hear something that's said and it turns me bearish towards a certain thing. So this would definitely change if I'm invested in a certain and particular set of items on Veve. I definitely would not be holding these. And I just wanted to put this out here so you all can kind of understand why I do nitpick every single word that gets said, because they literally tell you everything that you need to know. Like my entire investment strategy, like the reason that I have been able to accomplish what I have on Veve, like even while a lot of people are struggling, is because I literally listen to what they say and I take it very, very seriously. And they have proven that they deliver upon what they say. But this in particular is something that has been delayed. Like it's just the second year that has been delayed right now. And it's probably going to go into 3 to 4 years before we actually see this. So this, when something like this happens, that's when it makes me, kind of question certain investments, especially investments that fall under this category. Now, it's not a bad thing as in, oh, FVV or anything like that. It completely makes sense why it's not available and why this was postponed and delayed, but it doesn't change the fact that it has been postponed and delayed from when we thought it was going to come, because there was a point in time where we believed that this was going to actually be something that came soon, and it was going to help some other certain assets on the platform blow up. So yeah, that being said, let's jump into it. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And yeah, be sure to look out for things like this. Look out for these nuanced details, man. It can literally help you when it comes down to your investments if you're listening for the right stuff.
Localization, right? The ability to have the app in multiple languages. Is this still happening this year? And I guess why hasn't it happened yet? It's been talked about for almost a year, but is it because Veve is scaling internal processes to handle the inflow of what that could bring for new users? Or I guess what's the holdup? Is it a heavy lift, and is it coming this year?
Yeah, so yes, it's a heavy lift. Yeah, from a development standpoint, once localization is available in the app, everything that is done or rolled out needs a longer lead time.
So that means that they have to do more work every single time they drop something. They're going to have to drop it in every single language. They're going to have to, and they're still struggling to fully make the whole experience right now as is perfect. So to now have the responsibility of not messing up in every single language that they're going to offer, yeah, you can understand how they're not ready for that right now just yet. But we have been, like, a lot of people were collecting like the Ultramans and I'm not saying like I have no control over the markets. I don't know where they're going to go. This is just my logic in the way that I look at things. If I'm banking on the Asian market being what takes Ultraman and makes it super, super valuable, and then the anime side of things and stuff that should be coming in the future, like, it doesn't sound like because I would assume before they drop anime, they're gonna have some different languages that kind of appeases that audience or makes it so that audience can actually understand what's on Veve a lot better. Granted, other countries usually all learn English, but I mean, you don't everyone loves the subbed anime, so you don't really get on Veve without or I know that the words, having the words on the screen with anime is a very popular thing. So you don't introduce that without basically having the languages and stuff available. You don't do that without having the languages available, which leads me to believe that we're not going to have anime coming soon. And it also leads me to believe that the things that we have that are from Asia, they're not going to be taken off on that platform anytime soon. But that's just my thoughts. That's just how I'm looking at it. But it does mean that these stuff should be going, this stuff and this is just an assumption, this stuff should be going down in value once people understand that we're not going to be working with Asia no time soon. This stuff should be going down in value, which does create a big buying opportunity for those who are thinking more long term towards when the languages and stuff actually comes out. So I think that's something that comes to mind when I basically hear what he just said. I don't think that we're going to be having a lot of the Asian things on the app and a lot of that stuff. Honestly, personally, if I'm up, I'm selling it. I'm selling it until it's closer towards time for Asia to get onto the platform, because based on how he's saying this, it doesn't sound like it's coming anytime soon. Like they've been working on the cars. That's a whole aspect that needs to come into VV. They're working on cars. They're working on games. Like they're working on sports. Like all of this stuff has been talked about more than anime or any of the Asian stuff on the app. So we have all these different intervals that's coming to the platform, and all of them get talked about way more than anime or something like that. So we did hear at one point in time they were going to open like an office or something in China. We did hear about that, but then after that we hadn't heard anything else. And this is probably why it might have been some type of setback, some type of delay. I mean, we don't really know, but from what he's saying right here throughout this part, it does not sound like this is something that's coming soon. So yeah, and that's just what I'm taking from it. Like I said, I could be wrong. Like it could come sooner, but it doesn't sound. With the rest of the questions he was asked throughout this interview, you would see his eyes light up. I didn't see a light up right here. I saw it's one of those things we can't nothing can be done about this.
We have to be able to translate everything into each language or make those things available. From a when point of view, like I said earlier, we're really prioritizing other things at the moment, frankly. We want to get these payout in. We need these core pillars in place before we can really push the marketing side of things, because everyone who's in the community has seen what the opposite causes, right? When you can't cash out and there's misunderstanding there and those kind of things. So they're definitely the priority. Now, localization makes more sense when we are going to roll out a wider selection of localized licenses, right? I know you're a big anime fan and have been waiting since day one for more actual anime drops. But as part of our rollout, I mean, obviously we now have Disney on board. Disney has an almost innumerable amount of content and licenses, things like that, which will continue to roll out in amongst all our other licenses.
So basically what I just heard right there is, I know you've been waiting for anime, but we have Disney now. You know how many licenses and stuff that comes with Disney? You know how many different things we have to drop from Disney? So that means the fact that Disney was the first one to come up, that means that Disney is a priority for VV, which means that this is Disney's time right now. And so Disney's time, they have enough licenses for that to last some years. So as long as they're focusing on Disney stuff, I don't know if they're too pressed to just try to throw anime in there. But not even just Disney. Like obviously he says the core features and stuff like that, some of the core things. But the fact that he just brought up Disney, it makes me believe that there's a priority on Disney, first off, in particular. And then all the other things, these other things that they've been talking about. Like I said, sports, the cars, the vehicles and stuff like that. Stuff that's already been announced, like the children's toy brand, LOL, the LOL stuff. Like there's stuff that's been announced, stuff that's supposed to be coming. And yeah, I think that all of this is going to be a priority over localization. I think that all of this will be a priority over that. So that leads me to believe that that's going to be something that gets pushed out a year, maybe two from now type thing, you know? So I think that that's going to be pushed out even longer. Like he just clearly said that it's not even a priority, you know? So.
But we're at a point now where we really do kind of structure these verticals to start pushing more in one direction or another. So until we kind of have that a bit more of a really multiple licenses that we can roll out in the same vertical, for example, anime, it doesn't really make sense to prioritize it over some of these other core features,
Right.
as much as I know that people want them. So that's kind of the logic, I guess, behind that, and why we're prioritizing these other items first. And then as we start to launch these new verticals like anime or whatever it happens to be, we launch them on a rolling basis, so that there's a point to localization. If we go through and change all the languages in the app, and add, say, Japanese and Korean and whatnot, drop one anime brand, and then that's it for the year, we actually just wasted a few months of development time.
Right.
So
you need to have like a rolling, like these are specifically targeting. So we're going to keep them, we're going to get them excited and then retain them, and then kind of filter in more things that are not just only one vertical or anime specific, but still have enough coming. So that way you're appeasing the new user base while still keeping the rest of us, happy as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And, we I think we've got more than 200, 250 brands and licenses now. We're still signing an insane amount all the time. And they will start to be more localized, right? We do have like more region specific drops. And the pieces will be in place before we roll those out. It's more just at the moment, no, the majority of our user base is in the US, right? And so catering to, you know, a more Western audience with the brands and licenses we have just makes more sense from a product rollout.
So basically what I got from that is they're focusing on where they have the biggest audience at, which is the US. And I don't see Veve as being anywhere near trying to market themselves, because you got to think they've done no marketing to this at this point. Like they have a big platform, whether people believe it or not. Like I hear people always say, "Oh, there can't be 2 million people. He's still lying," and stuff like that. When they like, everyone expects people, like, how are people expecting new users to get these 30,000 edition drops against a community that literally watch tips and tricks videos all day, every day, know how to get all the best things, know all the tricks and stuff, know to make multiple accounts? What new person is going to come onto Veve and do this? Every single one of my friends I know who have ever gone for drops on Veve has never secured a drop once. Every single one of them. So when I'm taking that into consideration, I completely understand how these people could have never gotten drops before, and it could really be that amount of users. It's only 30,000 editions. Like, they're only dropping these small amount of editions, and we have 2 million people. Of course, people are going to use the app, get on and see every now and again what's happening, but not really be securing things. It's almost impossible to secure. Like, people act like there's enough to go around. There's absolutely not. There's some of us who are just an active part of this community because we want to make a ton of money. We know what we can make. We know the potential of this project. There's some of us who knows this, and the people that we get on, they're not going to know this, nor should they be expected to know this. So yeah, essentially it makes much more sense to focus. If they're not going to do marketing, if they're nowhere near the point where they're going to be marketing, it makes much more sense to focus on the audience that they already have, which is your Disneys, your DCs, your cars, your sports, and stuff like that. It makes much more sense to focus on that stuff than it does to focus on something that they would now have to have a whole rollout plan for, start promoting stuff in Asia, start trying to figure out how to bring these people on board Veve. They're not at a level to do all that. They because imagine trying to explain why Cash Out is not here to in Japanese or something. Imagine them trying to explain that, write articles, and make sure the articles is on point to cater to that audience as well. Like, it just doesn't make sense. It's just a lot more work that you need to put on yourself. So yeah,
right. Then it would to completely change the roadmap just to drop sort of one anime license.
Got it. No, that's helpful. And I had a question on UI and also on marketing, but based on you kind of like going into the brands, I'm going to skip those and come back to them.
All right, y'all. So this was an interesting point that I wanted to point out, and this is one where I would personally be out of the Asian holds right now. Or I mean, if I was down bad on some of the Asian stuff, which I may be, like, it's in a situation where I'm just gonna have to hold it. But if I am still up in profit, I would get out ASAP. And yeah, like, I mean, get out ASAP until it's closer to time, because I believe that as some of the Disneys and stuff like that starts to rise back up during the bull run, now that we have this information that we're nowhere near the Asian side of things actually going up in value, I don't think that people are just going to be buying these up, pushing these prices up of this stuff, to be honest. But like I said, I could be wrong. But this is just how I think. This is just how I choose to strategize and run my portfolio. So the stuff that they say does have an impact. Like, it's the same thing with the Omi token. I believe that the Omi token wasn't moving because we know exactly what it takes for it to move. We know we need exchanges. We know we need it tied to the Veve app. So why would anybody go crazy trying to buy it right now when you know that basically buying it does nothing? Just like buying the Asian stuff on Veve would do nothing right now. Like, they have no plans of doing anything with this stuff right now. So taking that into consideration, it's no need to necessarily prepare for that right now. There's going to be a lot of money. Like, I'm expecting some of the Batmans to 2 to 5x before we ever see a lot of this Asian stuff move on the platform. So yeah, like that's just the way that I look at it. There's a bigger chance that Superman or Star Wars or anything else on the platform is going to 2, 3, 4, 5x way before any of the Asian stuff does, because they're not even focused on that. So that was my takeaway from this. Let me know what you all think in the comment section down below. Be sure to drop that thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And yeah, I'm gonna catch you all in the next one. Peace out, Joe.